एकम अक्षरम हृदि निरंतरम भासते स्वयं लिख्यते हृदय कुहर मध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् यहन्महम् इति साक्षात् आत्मरूपेण भाति। हृदि विषमनसा स्वं चिन्वता मच्युता पवनचलनरोधा आत्मनिष्ठो देहं मृण्मयमज्जडात्मकम् अहं बुद्धिर्न तस्यास्त्यतो नाहं तत्तभावशुक्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वदधिया दृष्टात्मनिष्ठात्मनो सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयं। Namo Ramana. In this, the Thursday Satsang from Ramanacentre for Learning, it has been our practice to select 2 verses randomly from the work Guruvachika Kovai by Muruganar Swamigal. The random selection is done by Revatima. Each verse is read and verse reading is followed by a short meditation on its meaning, and that is followed by the practice of self-enquiry for about 15 minutes. After these 2 segments of verse reading, the meditation on the meaning of the verse, and the practice of Atma Vicharam are completed, there will be summing up remarks. Today, Dileep ji is available with us to do the summing up remarks, and that shall be followed by the offering of the chanting of Sri Ramanastotram. That will be done by Vaibhavji and Pratnama online. And the rest of us will be continuing our self-inquiry by inquiring who is the listener, and the satsang will come to a conclusion after that offering of Ramanastotram is completed. We begin by taking up the first verse selected for us, verse number 280. We find this in the segment Investigation into Truth. There are 3 segments in this work: investigation into truth, meditation on the truth, and experience of the truth. We find 280 in investigation into truth. The subsegment is Guru's grace. The greatness of the Guru is the title given to the verse. The greatness of the Guru, Guru's grace, verse 280. The Guru, the benefactor of true jnana, who truly shines as the self that possesses unlimited splendor, is the primal silence that puts to flight the perverse arguments that arise through the persistent stain of infatuation with the world. The Guru, the true benefactor, the benefactor of true jnana, who truly shines as the self that possesses unlimited splendor, is the primal silence that puts to flight the perverse arguments that arise through the persistent stain of infatuation with the world. So who is the true Guru? We have been guided by so many teachers along the way, and we have had so many mentors on whom we have relied for various kinds of knowledge and support. But who is the true Guru? The Guru, the benefactor of true jnana. So the one who blesses us with the true jnana. What is this true jnana? That which is Sat Chit, that which is not separated, that knowledge which is not separated from the Sat. If it is separated from the Sat, then it becomes Asat. Therefore, what is true jnana which is bestowed by the Guru? The true jnana is the self-knowledge, that is Sat and Chit together. The Guru who truly shines as the self that possesses unlimited splendor. The rest of the beauty and splendor of this world is all limited, is all conditioned and vanishes in the dream and the deep sleep states. The waking state, what splendors we see, and we wonder what kind of splendors are there in nature and in human festivities, but then they all vanish in the deep sleep, and even in the next state called dream, the splendors of the waking state are not available. But the splendor of the self is unlimited because it is beyond the 3 states. It is beyond the 3 states. It shines as the pure self. It has unlimited splendor, and the Guru's nature, who is the Guru, is the primal silence, is the pure mauna. The mauna of the complete absence of the ego principle, the complete lack of division in consciousness as subject and object. Only the pure subject is there, that is Shuddha Mauna. There is no object, Haridarkum, Harivittarkum, Anniyamindrai avirvad. The self has no other for it to know or to express itself to. Bhagavan says in Ulladu Narpadu, Aridarkum, to know, Arivitharkum, to express oneself. There is no other. And we have lived lives of ignorance in trying to gain validation from others. Whereas in the pure self, there is no other at all. So it is beyond any argument. So there is no necessity to try to prove the existence of the self to anyone. There is only being the self. So it puts to flight the perverse arguments that arise through the persistent stain of infatuation with the world. Why do we fall into the habit of arguing? Because we still feel there is another whom we have got to convince about the way in which we express about the self. That is why, while commenting on Ulladu Narpadu, Lakshman Sharmaji would write that even Advaita is not something which you can prove by argument. Advaita is something that is to be lived. No other path to the truth also can be proved. But even Advaita is not provable because all proofs lie in the area of the knower, knowing, known, which division itself, the triad itself, vanishes in the self of all. And why do we have this bad habit of falling into argument? We have this bad habit of falling into argument because we still have the value for the world. That is, our infatuation with the world, our feeling satisfied only when somebody else approves us, gives us a like. That is what makes us argue, that we have to convince somebody. But that has to be overcome by enquiry. For whom is this anxiety to convince another? So the Parandama Sthiti, the final resting place, is where there is no division as subject and object. So clearly, this is the final resting place. As Bhagavan would say, when the cancer matures or grows, people would start talking that he is going to go away. And Bhagavan would say, they are saying that I am going to go away. Where can I go? I am here. Where can we go? Any of us, where can we go? There is no place or no time where we can go. In self-attention, all the time and all the different places are all absorbed in that stillness of the self. That is why the Guru is one who makes the sadhaka like himself. Guru is the self, and the sadhaka is taught and taken to that Swarupa, which is the self of all. Let us sit in practice of Atmacharana for the next 15 minutes or so. May I request Revatima to set the time for us? Thank you. Namo Ramana. We continue the satsang by taking up the second verse selected for us. Verse number 917. We find this in the chapter on experience of the truth under the subheading Stilling the Mind. Stilling the Mind, verse number 917. Just as the bright sun cannot be seen in a sky that is covered with a thick layer of cloud, it is impossible to see one's own Swarupa in the mind space in which darkness-inducing thought layers are thick. Just as the bright sun cannot be seen in a sky that is covered with a thick layer of cloud, it is impossible to see one's own Swarupa in the mind space in which the darkness-inducing thought layers are thick. So far as one is engrossed in the thought layers. Thought layers is the word used because each area of thought can form layer after layer, being interconnected with other layers of thought. One thought about time can make us spend a whole lifetime, as far as we know, or many lifetimes, as the Shastras say, on investigating into what is the nature of time itself. Or it can be in one of the branches of the space, the study into history, geography, or to study the space as personas and the social interactions, the sociology. All these can take years and years, and they all prevent us from looking at the ever-present self. The self is always there. It is always waiting as the source of the I. Whereas when the I is engrossed in the mind layers. Why it is engrossed in the mind layer? Because it is forgetful of who it is. Forgetfulness of the Swarupa raises as ignorance and raises as thought layers, which makes one engrossed in the objective thoughts and sensory objects. They all appear so real, and so much of false time is spent in all those areas, and one never observes one's own Swarupa because one is carried away by these thought layers. That is why Bhagavan says, as soon as a thought arises, you understand that you can pursue it only by forgetting your root existence. So instead of pursuing the thought and trying to complete the thought and probably get lost in a dimension into which the thought will expand, one should diligently ask, for whom is this thought? In fact, one may be asking, for whom is this thought layer? Because that one thought can expand into a whole layer of thoughts. One thought can become a crore of thoughts in a jiffy, in no time at all. Therefore, with diligence, one has to hold one's Swarupa. For whom is this thought? The I is always present. Therefore, one has to still that I. The stilling of the I is the subhead under which this verse comes. That stilling of the I, it is according to the teaching of Bhagavan, that who is Bhagavan? Hariyaditara Jivara Ahavari Saguhai Arivairami Paramatman Arunachala Ramana. Who is Ramana? Ramana is the Paramatma shining within the I thought of all the jivas from Hari onwards. Whenever the jiva bhava is there, within the I thought, the Paramatma is present. And by stilling the I thought, one identifies with the Paramatma. One can feel the Paramatma as the Spurana, and one starts identifying with the Spurana. But without stilling the I, this is not possible. Without stilling the I, one would get lost in the thought layers and one would not be aware of one's Swarupa. That is why Bhagavan says, Maya, which is layers and layers of thought, Maya, which cannot be broken by any other effort, can be broken down by this effort of stilling the I. In Upadesha Manjari, in a reply to Natanananda Swami, Bhagavan says that Maya, which is impossible of being crossed by any other effort, because effort itself arises because of Maya. Effort is not virodita to Ajnana. It is not against Ajnana. In fact, it arises from Ajnana. So all effort will be arising from Ajnana and will never break Ajnana or Maya. Whereas the stilling of the I, it directly attacks the Maya and helps us cross the Maya by coalescing the object and attention into the pure subject, into the still I itself. And that is the practice that we'll be going for the next 15 minutes, the practice of self-enquiry. We can request Revati Ma to set the time for us once again. Namo Ramana. Ramana. May I request Dileep ji to give us the summing up remarks. Namo Ramana, sir.
Namo Ramana, sir. There is a lot of noise in the class, and the teacher would only say silence. And what would the students do is just stop what they are doing. Remember, the silence, which is the substratum, will be found to be naturally present. So in both these verses, Bhagavan is saying that silence of the self or the bright sunlight is always there. Nothing can cover up it. It's only the temporary thoughts that rise seem to cover. Nandakumarji very beautifully highlighted. It's just not a thought. If we really inquire, it is a stack of thoughts. Meaning, it is somewhere the root cause, if you go to the root cause of every thought that we get, there will be a desire to something. And because we are still holding on to that desire, which is a sort of a sense of a desire, obviously has to have a subject and an object, and therefore a sense of division, which Nandakumarji very beautifully said in the initial verse, that gives rise to this thought. So that one desire will have a stack of thoughts, and which will rise doesn't matter in that stack of thoughts. But eventually, like the thick cloud, each thought will cover up that bright sunlight. So in DVG very beautifully says that these desires will be initially for food, and then once that is fulfilled, it will get into acquiring of wealth. Once that is taken care to some degree, then it will go towards, attractions towards men and women, or depending on what we are, they are the opposite sex. But of all of them, this infatuation, the attention that we want, he says, is the most dangerous thing. It actually makes us not realize the self. So this was very beautifully said to us in the first verse. This attention that we want, this validation that we want, somehow keeps the division that I am an individual who has to be validated or said to be correct by somebody else. So the division, I, somebody, and the require of validation is there. So that infatuation is the root cause. And the thoughts that may come depends on the situation. I may read somebody's approval, or if I am dealing in the area of spirituality, or if I am dealing in the area of my work. So, but the root cause of all of it will be that attention seeking or that validation seeking. So therefore we have to understand, whenever we get a thought, if we really diligently take what Nandakumarji gave us, from what stack did this thought rise? What is the root desire which I am holding on to? And that is the cloud, the thick cloud that has covered up the ever-present sunlight, the ever-present silence. Neither the teacher nor the student could bring the silence from somewhere. All they had to do was stop the noise, and what was there was naturally available to all. So this is what Bhagavan teaches us through self-enquiry, that the self is ever present, ever available. It is our attention to the non-self that makes us feel that the self is not available here. If we were only to inquire, to whom is this, who am I, we end up finding the self, the substratum alone is. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya.
Namo Ramana. May I request Vaibhavji and Prarthana to chant the Sri Ramana Stotram for us. Namo Ramana.
Namo Ramana. भारद्वाज विश्वनाथ विरचितम् श्री रमणाष्टोत्तर शतनामावलिः अपार सच्चित् सुखवारिराशे यस्योर्मिमात्रम् भुवनं समस्तम् गुहाहितं तं रमणं गभीरं चिन्ताविहीनं हृदि चिन्तयामि। ॐ महासेन महंसेन जाताय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमणाय नमः। ॐ गुरवे नमः। ॐ अखण्ड संविदाकाराय नमः। ॐ महौजसे नमः। ॐ कारणोद्भवाय नमः। ॐ जगद्धितावताराय नमः। ॐ श्रीभूमिनाथस्थलोस्थिताय नमः। ॐ पराशरकुलोत्तंसाय नमः। ॐ सुन्दरार्यतपःफलाय नमः। ॐ कमनीयसुचारित्राय नमः। ॐ सहायाम्बा सहायवते नमः। ॐ शोणाचलमहोलीनमानसाय नमः। ॐ स्वर्णहस्तकाय नमः। ॐ श्रीमद्द्वादशान्तमहास्थले लब्धविद्योदयाय नमः। ॐ महाशक्तिनिपातेन प्रबुद्धाय नमः। ॐ परमार्थविदे नमः। ॐ तीव्राय नमः। ॐ पितृपदान्वेषिणे नमः। ॐ इन्दुमौलिना पितृमते नमः। ॐ पितुरादेशतः शोणशैलं प्राप्ताय नमः। ॐ तपोमयाय नमः। ॐ उदासीनाय नमः। ॐ महायोगिने नमः। ॐ महोत्साहाय नमः। ॐ कुशाग्रदिये नमः। ॐ शान्तसङ्कल्पसंरम्भाय नमः। ॐ सुसन्दृशे नमः। ॐ सवित्रे नमः। ॐ स्थिराय नमः। ॐ तपक्षपितसर्वाङ्गाय नमः। ॐ फुल्लाम्बुजविलोचनाय नमः। ॐ चन्द्रिकासितहासश्रीमण्डिताननमण्डलाय नमः। ॐ च्यूतवाट्यां समासीनाय नमः। ॐ चूर्णिताखिलविभ्रमाय नमः। ॐ वेदवेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञाय नमः। ॐ चिन्मुद्रिणे नमः। ॐ त्रिगुणातिगाय नमः। ॐ विरूपाक्षगुहावासाय नमः। ॐ विराजदचलाकृतये नमः। ॐ उद्दीप्तनयनाय नमः। ॐ पूर्णाय नमः। ॐ रचिताचलताण्डवाय नमः। ॐ गम्भीराय नमः। ॐ परमाचार्याय नमः। ॐ सुप्रसन्नाय नमः। ॐ अभयप्रदाय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणस्य निधाय नमः। ॐ धीराय नमः। ॐ दक्षिणाभिमुखाय नमः। ॐ स्वराजे नमः। ॐ महर्षये नमः। ॐ भगवते नमः। ॐ ईड्याय नमः। ॐ भूमविद्याविशारदाय नमः। ॐ विमलाय नमः। ॐ दीर्घदर्शिने नमः। ॐ आप्ताय नमः। ॐ ऋजुमार्गप्रदर्शकाय नमः। ॐ समदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्यदृशे नमः। ॐ सत्याय नमः। ॐ प्रशान्ताय नमः। ॐ अमितविक्रमाय नमः। ॐ सुकुमाराय नमः। ॐ सदानन्दाय नमः। ॐ मृदुभाषिणे नमः। ॐ दयार्णवाय नमः। ॐ श्रीशोणाचलऋद्बोधस्कन्दाश्रमनिकेतनाय नमः। ॐ सद्दर्शनोपदेष्ट्रे नमः। ॐ सद्भक्तवृन्दपरिवृताय नमः। ॐ गणेशमुनिभृङ्गेन सेविताङ्घ्रिसरोरुहाय नमः। ॐ गीतोपदेशसारादिग्रन्थसञ्चिन्नसंशयाय नमः। ॐ वर्णाश्रममतातीताय नमः। ॐ रसज्ञाय नमः। ॐ सौम्याय नमः। ॐ आत्मवते नमः। ॐ सर्वावनिमतस्थानाम् आराध्याय नमः। ॐ सर्वसद्गुणिने नमः। ॐ आत्मारामाय नमः। ॐ महाभागाय नमः। ॐ मातृमुक्तिविधायकाय नमः। ॐ विनताय नमः। ॐ विनुताय नमः। ॐ विप्राय नमः। ॐ मुनीन्द्राय नमः। ॐ पावकोज्ज्वलाय नमः। ॐ दर्शनादसंहारिणे नमः। ॐ मौनेन स्वात्मबोधकाय नमः। ॐ ऋचान्तिकरसान्निध्याय नमः। ॐ स्मरणाद्बन्धमोचकाय नमः। ॐ अन्तस्तिमिरचण्डांशवे नमः। ॐ संसारार्णवतारकाय नमः। ॐ शोणादृशस्तुतिद्रष्टे नमः। ॐ हार्दविद्याप्रकाशकाय नमः। ॐ अविच्युतनिजप्रज्ञाय नमः। ॐ नैसर्गिकमहातपसे नमः। ॐ कमण्डलुधराय नमः। ॐ शुभ्रकौपीनवसनाय नमः। ॐ गुहाय नमः। ॐ दण्डपाणये नमः। ॐ कृपापूर्णाय नमः। ॐ भवरोगविषग्वराय नमः। ॐ स्कन्दाय नमः। ॐ देवतमाय नमः। ॐ अमर्त्याय नमः। ॐ सेनान्ये नमः। ॐ पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः। ॐ श्रीरमण भगवते नमः। श्रीरमणाष्टोत्तरशतनाम पूजां समर्पयामि। यस्थानोररुणाचलस्य पदयोः स्मृत्याजनिं प्राप्यत दिव्यानुग्रह सुप्रवाह विवशस्तादात्म्यभावं गतः निर्दिष्टस्वगभीर नित्यतपसा लोकान् पुनासेकरात् तस्मै श्रीरमणाय ते नमः इदं लोकोत्तर ज्योतिषे। ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय।
Namo Ramana Vaibhavji and Pratnama. Thank you. Namo Ramana.